And now?
So now we
We're going
have
Karoo, which is
BTC
another very
Karoo.
small town, just
Yeah.
around the corner there, where you might miss it if you don't know. But
I remember Athol Fugard's book about the Karoo and the house in the Karoo. That actually comes back.
we're in the valley now.
Thank you. That's actually a good intro for me because I think where I am as a community is slightly different structure to what we're hearing about regularly here now. But I want to take a moment before I start and just say, post the plate, discussion. I think we feel the same. Like we started at a time it was very it was almost a natural progression. And so a lot of what we did, we kind of have to give a round of applause, I think, to guys that have built Bitcoin circular economies and spread the message about Bitcoin as money during a time when people thought you were psycho for doing that. So if I can ask just a round of applause to those communities, because really, like, you guys have laid the foundation for us. We of course, take all the credit, so thanks a lot. But I want to just position the Karoo just quickly because I think it's got a really unique structure. It's a rural town in South Africa. We're about 400 people in the main town. Very typical South African structure is you've got a town and then you have a township attached to that. So it's like these completely two villages living actually simultaneously off of the same kind of resources. One of the other kind of critical things, and it's going to come in just to my discussion around what's happened as we've progressed, is these towns were usually founded by founding families. And what that is like 100 years ago in the Karoo, you got these guys that came out to the Karoo and made their fortune selling ostrich feathers, which happens to be a really cool story, actually, as we do education in our town, because we talk about this idea of finding, this opportunity in life that doesn't always come along very often, and how these farmers actually did that. They, went in search of the ostrich gold, really, at that time. But also what that means is I want to kind of highlight the idea that you've got maybe something that is similar in some small communities, and that is you kind of have these sages, people that have been around as community leaders for years and years, families that have been around for 100 years, that people kind of go to and say, like, what are the Leroux doing? What are the Schoemans doing? If they accept this, then, we've got to consider this. So we started fundamentally, the date was August 2024, so we were already like way past the pick and pays and stuff, and that sort of made it super easy in South Africa, let's face it. You could just kind of get somebody who was interested and say like, well, you can just kind of take it and spend it at pick and pay, and then like ears perked up, and it was really quite easy to get that merchant adoption here. We had already moved out of the city, so we'd gone to the Karoo. We were talking to Edwin, talking to a couple of guys. I mean, we've known each other for ages, and we knew the development of those circular economies. I was working, as I said earlier in another discussion, for a financial services business. Around 2023, I got pulled into like a like a discussion around the fact that I needed to stop talking about Bitcoin on LinkedIn. And it was a very big eye-opener for me. Ellie, I didn't get fired, but it was a threat to being fired, to which I told them, go fuck yourselves. And I said, I will put a disclaimer on everything, but I won't stop talking about it. But it was a big fire under my butt, because at the end of the day, I realized that at the heart of the businesses I was working with was actually a decision to hide some of these truths that we were finding out about. And I was questioning why. And so it was the drive. I quit my job. Right at that moment, I started a business, and I started Bitcoin Karoo with my husband and my child. My child can make Bitcoin payments, as I say, at 3 years old with Blink, and asks me regularly to please do so. What did we do? So we embarked on two things. Self-custody education was the critical, and the next thing was to get the merchants on board. And in our town, what was that? Freda Schoeman, sage in the town. She ran Freda Handmade for years. All three shops, Plame, Gallery, and Freda. Johan in Oudtshoorn. It's been a little bit of an issue, Oudtshoorn. We've had to realize, pull back, make it smaller. Even Oudtshoorn is too far for us. We can't keep that going in our economy. Keep it de risk, keep it small. So, guys, we're 400 people in a town. We've got 33 establishments now accepting Bitcoin. Only one of those is the Pick and Pay in Oudtshoorn. Hallelujah. We got a major farmer there, Celia female, running horse riding, running meat in the town. She brings meat to plate, running a pet stall. She's accepting Bitcoin. We got Sean, the daily. They're ecstatic about it. They love it for all the reasons we know. And then other guys from out of town, like Harry's, who came in, like started an evening establishment. Sorry, we only have one shop that's open beyond 6 o'clock in the evening in Tourist. Last things for me was that we encountered, even with that growth, we encountered big problems around the fact that even if the merchant was accepting, they were still trading crypto, they still had their little Lunar app, they still didn't understand self-custody, and we needed to speed that up. So there were a few things that we did. One is we introduced this little How to Bitcoin flyer, and if anybody wants this, please, it is in the pack, I think, for this conference now. It may need to be adjusted according to what you need. So if you want the PDF and you want to change it, make it work for your community, it's completely free. Please, we'll send it to anyone in the format that you can adjust it. What that meant is we could dump those in all the shops, and they started to go really quickly. So we started to pop into the shops and just see those things were just flying, and we just keep topping those up. It just tells you how to do this. It doesn't talk about the philosophical stuff. It's just, how do I spend Bitcoin and get Bitcoin safely and do this? The next thing we did is we opened a little block in one of the shops, which is just an education. So we want it to be seen, and it's like a little spot. We painted it super bright orange, and it's got cool pictures up, and it was just a place where we kind of said, if we have a meetup, we'll have it there. And then finally, the real thing that we had to realize is that we needed social credit. We needed to, in this kind of town, you need to be seen as this is, we're doing something in this town. So what did we do? We did lots of installations and sponsorships. We sponsored the Open Studios, the art festival in our town. We recently sponsored Maringspoort, the Cycle Challenge. What we wanted is we want us to be, you can't get rid of us. We're there. We're in every shop. You walk in, you see it. If you go to a function, you see us. And so what's going to happen in 2026 for the future for us, we've launched a project, the Bitcoin sponsorship of the Durist Tennis Club. Typical in the old towns, you'll have a sports ground that's just kind of completely dilapidated. So we're going ahead with a sports project where we're going to incorporate a kids' tennis club, and we're going to start having the opportunity to pay salaries in Bitcoin, have a hub for education around Bitcoin, get kids in from street kid programs right through to the high schools to have them playing tennis and learning about Bitcoin. So it's going to be a little bit of a reach from what we've been doing just with the merchants, but I'm really excited about the future. So yeah, cool. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Okay.